Hey there, I'm Nancy from Catholic Sprouts. Today we are going to continue to talk about the 3 keys to teaching your children the Catholic faith. In a previous video, I broke down those 3 keys to prayer, trust, and try. Today we are going to really dig into that first key, prayer. Now, why is prayer so important? Why is it number 1? Well, let's talk about it, shall we? In fact, prayer is more important than studying the faith. Prayer is more important than finding the perfect craft on Pinterest that fits the liturgical season. And it's even more important than planning, than having beautiful plans written the night before that you execute at home with your children. Prayer is number 1. And I'm excited to tell you why. So the first reason why prayer needs to be the most important thing that you take to teaching your children the faith is because you are not enough. Now, I hate to say that, but you really aren't enough. Your knowledge, your virtue, your determination, they aren't enough. Teaching a child of faith is beyond what we are capable of doing. We know that faith is the first theological virtue. A theological virtue is something that we can receive from God only. It's not something that we can achieve on our own or that we can get through studying. Yes, God can guide studying. We can make our studying a prayer. He can use that. But no one has faith without a relationship with God. So how can we transfer a faithfulness to our children if we aren't living that out? In 2 other videos, I've talked about how personal prayer is the most important thing that you need to establish for yourself right now. And I'm talking outside of going to Mass. I'm talking outside of the prayers that you say with your kids as you're putting them to bed. Those are good and beautiful things. Keep doing those, yes. But if you are going to really grow in holiness and grow as a teacher and a parent, you need to have dedicated daily time to pray. In a previous video, which I will link to, I talk all about some simple ideas to do this. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't be defeated. But if you are embarking on teaching your children the faith, before the lesson plans, figure out a time to pray and a time that you can continue to pray every day. Now, the second reason why prayer needs to be number 1 when we go to teach our children the Catholic faith is because God knows our children better than we do. He really does. He knows them better than we do. He loves them better than we do. He's a better teacher than we are. And so we need to go to the ultimate teacher to be taught how to teach. Now, I know that's confusing, but it is only through prayer that God can form us into the teacher that our children need. It is only through time with God that we can learn about our children, that we can process our failures, and that we can go with more patience and more love back into that situation and teach them better. The more time we spend with God, the more we can become like Him. Remember, we are created in the image and likeness of God. And who is God? God is love. God is love. Saint Therese wrote that she on her own didn't have enough love inside of her to love this obnoxious nun that she lived with. And although we love our children, we know that they can be obnoxious and rude and children. We on our own, we don't have enough to give to them. We need to go to God so that He can fill us up, so that He can form us, so that He can give us the virtues of patience and determination, all the things that we need to be dedicated teachers, and things that come only from Him and only through a private, dedicated prayer life with Him. Now, the third reason why prayer needs to sit at the center, the absolute cornerstone of our work of teaching our children the faith, is this: you will fail. I know that's hard to hear, but when it comes to teaching your children the faith, you will fail. Projects will flop. You will go on a big speech about a saint's life and your children will retain nothing. This will happen. You will put a coloring sheet in front of them that you think is going to lead to beautiful discussion and a wonderful moment, and they'll rip it in half before you even get the crayons out. These things will happen. And not only that, you will lose your temper. You will be a terrible example. All of these things will happen. Why? Because you're a human being. Because children are terrible sometimes. Because we all are flawed. These things will happen. So you need to be grounded in prayer. I hear from mothers all the time that have failed. They've tried things, it hasn't worked, they've been frustrated, and unfortunately they've given up. They think, well, they'll learn a little bit in CCD. Well, maybe we'll try again later. And I understand that feeling. It's frustrating. It's hard to fail. It's hard to put energy and time and resources into a project that is a complete bust. It's hard to get up the next day and try again. But that is where prayer comes in. Prayer refreshes us. Prayer renews us. Prayer fills us back up with that patience and love that can only come from God. And so, my friends, you will fail at teaching your children the faith. I have failed. I will fail again. Things never work out as you plan that they hope they will work out. And yet, because we are connected to God, the source of all life and love, we continue on. And so, my friends, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this gave you some ideas. And if you want some more resources to help you along this, I have two things I would like to invite you to do. First of all, I have a simple bookmark breaking down the steps of Lectio Divina. Lectio Divina is the core thing that I do in my private prayer time. You can take just a couple verses and really work through them and come to some beautiful revelations from God, and it can take about 15 minutes a day. So if you'd like to download and use that bookmark, I will link to it below this video. The second thing I'd like to encourage you to do is to reevaluate your day. I have a 7-day free email course called Reclaim the Day. It's a free email course for Catholic women, Catholic mothers in particular. And I realized as a Catholic mom that my major issue was that my priorities were all out of whack. I was just responding to whoever was screaming the loudest. And therefore, for many years, I felt pretty sure that I simply didn't have time to pray. I was busy all the time. I mean, where in the world was I going to find 15 minutes? Well, the truth of the matter is that there was 15 minutes to find. I just wasn't making prayer a priority. And so actually my pediatrician sat me down and gave me some hard talking and forced me to reevaluate my day and reorder my life. It was a game changer. I am so thankful that she did that for me, and I'm dying to do it for you. So if you are sitting here thinking, well, prayer would be nice, but I don't have time, I'm here to tell you you do have time, and I'd like to help you find it. So follow the link below this video for the free Reclaim the Day course. It has changed the lives of thousands of women already, and I hope that it has a big impact on you as well. And so, my friends, remember that prayer is the first key to teaching our children the faith. In the next videos, we're going to talk about the next key, which is trust. And finally, in the third video, we are going to talk about trying. So stay tuned for those videos. But until then, I encourage you to join me, my sisters, join me in the good, holy, challenging work of parenting, which is doing small things with great love. I will see you soon.